This is my number 8 extended thoughts on my top 10 changes I want to see in Disney Infinity 3.0 in the toy box. So number 8 is more complex builders is basically what I'm talking about here. And what I mean by that is I think the builders in 2.0 were really good. A great idea that I didn't even think of, but answered a problem that we were all having in 1.0, in that it was a tedious process of theming toy boxes. Like ultimately the way it would go, at least the way I would do it, is I'd build a mechanic, some cool mechanic, and I'd put my set pieces in, but then ultimately you'd be left with just all this empty toy box space. And I think the builders was a really great solution to sort of take your hands off that area and let them build it and then tweak afterwards. They wouldn't always get it right first time, and I wouldn't expect them to, but they did a good chunk of the work, and then you could build off upon what they had done. I think that's really great. The problem is they were a little bit too random, if you ask me. And so I think what I mean by complex builder is basically the ability to open up open up a properties box of a builder that you've placed down and define some variables. So for instance, just like in when you place, like the toolbox restricted creative toy, whatever that one's called, the ability to go into a builder and say, okay, so I want you to build a forest, but I only want you to use these particular plants in your palette, so to speak, so that they will only build the plants that you only place the plants that you tell them to plant. I think I would like to get rid of, this is sort of a little bit side, but there's two sort of major builder type things. You've got the little builders that go around and build things randomly, but then you've got the ones that are like you can draw an area of effect and it will auto just fill that. I just think get rid of that, combine it all into the one mechanic, because that's a little bit confusing. So, and then basically, so allow, maybe you draw a region using a tool, and then you can attach a builder to that region, so they'll only build in that particular area. That would be really good. Maybe we have the ability to define a certain level that we want them to auto stop building. Maybe, you know, a certain level in using the toy box bar at the top there. Maybe say, well, I don't want you to build past this point. That might be really nice. And certainly we need a better menu system in order to select those builders. It's a real pain trying to chase them, to highlight them with the wand. It'd be really nice if we could have like an overarching menu that displays all the builders that we have in the system at the time who are currently building. Select them from that menu rather than having to chase them down with a wand, I guess. And I guess the only other area I would like to see complex builders come into action is perhaps the way they interact with each other. Like maybe it'd be nice to be able to have greater control, or at least a higher level of intelligence, so to speak, so that you could place two builders of different types next to each other and they'll actually work a little bit better together. And again, based on, maybe we can set some parameters in that. We could say, okay, so I'm placing down a Agrabah toy box builder or whatever, and we could say, can you build stuff that's going to be conducive to platforming, or you are only building for theming only? So can you, and you know, so if you do that, they tend to keep things to the edges and so on. You have these different modes that you can put them in. Hey, I want you to create, I don't know, you know what I mean, but basically put them in these different modes. Same as if you would if you're in a, you know, in some form of fighting game or something, you can put a character in a defensive position or an attack position. Basically change the style in which they build. These sorts of things I think would make them even more useful than they already are, and they are already great. But I think that they certainly can be advanced to be even better tools. So let me know in the comments what you think you would like to see happen with the builders. Do you even like them? Do you even use them? Could they be used in more of gamification way? Do they become a fun part of the toy box? Could they actually be utilized as part of the gameplay, perhaps? Let me know in the comments some thoughts you have, and we will discuss those in a future episode of the Inside Infinity podcast. And thank you for watching my extended thoughts on number 8.